Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Microsoft Flight Simulator, and today is an awesome day where we get to test drive and take a look at the brand new H-145 helicopter from the HypePerformanceGroup. Super stoked to check this one out, guys, so stick around. If you are interested in learning how to fly the TBM 930 from Microsoft Flight Simulator, consider joining my Patreon site, level tier 2 or above, which gives you access to all of my guides, which include the A320, the G1000, and now the recently released Cessna Citation Longitude. These guides include everything from cockpit tours to full instructionals on how to use all the systems, creating your flight plans, as well as the different types of approaches and takeoffs that are available to the different aircrafts. They are extremely detailed, full with pictures and identifying markers to make your flight sim experience with this aircraft as easy as possible. Again, link down to my Patreon site found in the description below. Alright, so before we actually get into the aircraft itself, let's talk about a couple of things. You can pick this aircraft up from the HypePerformanceGroup.com, go to the products page, and you'll be able to find the H-145. Now, it is very important to remember this aircraft is in early access, okay? Not all features are complete. You may run into some bugs and things of that nature. Just be patient with it. Understand it's an early access variant. However, you're essentially going to get 3 different variants of this particular aircraft, which is pretty awesome. You're going to get an early access civilian, luxury, and military variant bundle. Now, the price is $42.99, but I can tell you right now that if this is anything like the H-135, I will be more than happy with that price range. All right, I'll let you guys go ahead and check this website out on your own, but you can see it gives a list of the features that are available to this aircraft. Another big one is this guy right here, compatibility with the optional PMS 50 GTN 750. And if you come over to this website here, links to both of these will be in the description below. You guys can see what the GTN 750 is all about. It is a very awesome piece of software. I went ahead and purchased the premium. I love the features that it brings. The layout is very, very sleek and nice. Definitely worth the money in my personal opinion. But anyway, make sure that you guys check out this aircraft. It is a ton of fun. All right, now let's go ahead and take a look at one more thing that's going to be very awesome. We're going to be taking a look at this guy here. This is a scenery package from the HypePerformanceGroup for this particular airfield. Oh, sorry, I had something in my throat. It wasn't leaving me alone. DeBob Bay Research and Development Airport, HPG-1. This is just outside of Seattle, Washington. And this is where our aircraft is parked today. So once we get airborne, we'll take a quick tour around the area and see what the scenery is all about. Again, links to everything that you guys need to follow along with this video here is down in the description below. So be sure to check that out. What you want to start doing is addressing the documentation that comes with this aircraft. So you can see I have this aircraft installed in my mods directory, aircraft HPG, Airbus H-145. Now, the first thing I'm going to recommend you guys do is launch this activator application here. When you purchase the aircraft and download it, you will see an activation key. Make sure you take note of that, keep it somewhere safe. But then you simply just launch this executable and enter your CD key in and hit OK, and you'll get a beautiful little chime letting you know that everything worked successfully. If not, when you go into the aircraft, you will see on the ECAS warning panel that the activation is required. So get that out of the way first, that way you don't have to worry about it. Next thing you want to do is come up here into H-145 documentation. Start here. This is fantastic stuff. You have an H-145 normal procedures checklist, which we will be walking through today. You have a key bindings text, which tells you what some of the key bindings are. Now, pay very close attention to this, as you can see that many of these, when you come down here, for example, toggle engine 4 anti-ice is actually the autopilot trim release for this particular aircraft. So this is very, very handy. Make sure you guys take a peek at this before you get airborne in case you have any known conflicts that you may have to address, okay? Next one here is the quick start guide. It's not exactly what you would think. It's not about starting the aircraft, but more or less getting you up and flying. Install the PMS 50 GTN 750 community folder, which I have done. And then it tells you set regular airplane bindings for aileron and rudder, just like we would any other aircraft. And then set throttle axis for the collective control. It's very important that you pay attention to this one. That's not throttle 1 or throttle 2. It actually just says throttle axis, okay? Then when we come down here, again, here's that activation required that you're going to want to watch for. So just You know, I would take care of that right off the bat. Now let's take a look at these 3 requirements in here. These are from inside the simulator. So we're going to go to Escape, General Options, Flight Model, which is going to go under Data? No, or Flight Model. It could probably just be under Flight Model because that makes way more sense. And you want to make sure it's in Modern, okay? Then Camera, you want to scroll down and make sure Camera Shake right here is turned off. And then finally, going to Accessibility, you want to make sure the Cockpit Interaction System is set to Legacy. Okay, these are all requirements for this particular aircraft. Anything outside of that, and you may get behaviors that are unexpected, in which case, again, we want to make sure that we're following the instructions. So let's go ahead and jump back in. And now let's take a look at our beautiful bird. Getting into our aircraft here, as you guys can see, the exterior looks absolutely amazing. Everything from the rotor droop to the linkages up at the top of the rotor head, the tail rotor details, the fuselage, the PBR is fantastic. All the different pitot tubes and sensor tubes and everything that's sticking out up and around it, down to the skids. I mean, just look at everything, guys. It looks fantastic. Everything from the intake to the exhaust ports, the windshield, the window frames. I'm absolutely just blown away by the level of detail that was put in this thing. Looking down at the, I think those are the emergency float, or that's an emergency float bottle down there is what that does. If memory serves, it bursts those little bags that are on the skids in case the aircraft has to land and make an emergency water landing. Just guys, I'm shocked. This thing looks fantastic. Looks absolutely gorgeous. I think my favorite part is definitely the rotor head, or the, I guess whatever you call it. That's what I'm calling it, the drive shaft maybe. But just where all the rotors are meeting up at the top there. I don't know my helicopter lingo very well. I was never really into helicopters until I got into Microsoft Flight Simulator, with the exception of the UH-1 and DCS, but that was for completely different purposes. But the detail is just wow, just wow. I'm shocked. This thing looks gorgeous. So with that being said, let's go ahead and take a look at inside the helicopter and see what it offers us. So stepping inside the helicopter, it is no letdown whatsoever. And again, this is early access, so things like this, don't sweat. I'm sure there are things that are going to be adjusted in the future. But you can see the foot plates to the wooden floorboards, to the cyclic, to the collective, even down to the seats. They look absolutely beautiful. And it looks like there's going to be a purpose here to this. Be interesting to see what's coming down the line, but there's definitely a clicky there. Oh, what did that do? Oh, hey, look at that. It actually opens the rear doors. I never even caught that before. So I've come in here and set up our cameras. But that's about all I've done so far. That is too cool. So that opens and closes the rear doors. Interesting way to do that. I like the way they incorporated it. And then we have a rear cabinet here. I don't know why I can't all of a sudden turn it to the... Let me reset this here. Let's back up. So we're going to make a quick camera. Oh, that's moving the flight stick. I can see it up there moving around. Let's just go all the way back here. Boop, boop. Because there's some things back here I want to show you guys, so just stand by. There was something wrong with that initial view that I created. It was broken. Wouldn't let me turn my head. All right, so anyway, you can open this up here, and this works the same on both sides for the TV. And it just says TV, but again, it just adds something a little different, right? But here, you know, for those really hard days, guys, if you catch my drift, you got a nice little fridge there. That's kind of neat. And again, little details like that really don't mean a lot when they come to the pilot and flying the aircraft, but to the extra effort and the simulation, depending on what you're going for, I think things like that are so freaking cool. They really do make my day when we get to see things like that. It's sort of like the TBM, the ability to open the doors and stuff. I absolutely love it. I absolutely love it. And I do believe that this actually also, if I remember correctly, let's open both of these back up. Let's go to the external view. Yeah. These are also your cargo doors. So you can see we do have some cargo now, and there's some suitcases where before it was just sort of a empty cavity with the H-135. And remember, this is just the civilian luxury version. So this thing is so cool. I am really stoked to get this thing started. I have not flown it yet, guys. So we're going to be testing that out together. But the detail, the work and the effort that was put in the detail, I should say, is phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. Okay, so as far as the rest of the textures go, you can see there's definitely a major improvement from the H-135, just even going straight to the overhead panel, even looking at the switches, everything to the wear and tear on the aircraft. And again, for early access, this looks absolutely beautiful. I'm really, really impressed with the level of detail that was put into this bird. Now, that's pretty much all we can say here. I mean, we also do have a little panel here with some basic functionality here. A searchlight you can throw on there, ground power. There you go. You can turn it on and off from here. We're going to leave it off for now. Emergency floats. That's exactly what I thought that was. We'll leave that alone for now. And a master brightness panel, which we'll take a look at later. Now, I will say right off the bat, stepping into this, I would like to see some of the texturing refined on the text. As I'm looking at this, it's very fuzzy, very blotched around all the edges, and where my concern is if people get into VR. I'm very interested to see what this would look like in virtual reality on a lower end system. I'm willing to bet some of those letters get very hard to read. So that's just one critique so far, one thing that I would say I would like to see personally changed, but that's just moi, not to shout down on the aircraft. Let's keep moving forward and get through the engine startup process. All right, now for engine start. Let's go ahead and come up top here. And let's see what we got here. We're going to be walking through their checklist here. Battery master switch to on. Engage. Engage number 1. So there's engage. I'm pretty sure the standby battery should be on too. That's sort of the whole purpose. We'll throw that down there just in case. Anyway, moving on down here. Test fire switch to EXT. I would assume extinguish. So let's find our test fire switch. Here's our fire. We got system 1 hydraulic lamp. So let's go to EXT. Oh, test fire switch 1. I see, my bad. And we're testing the warning panel. And again, see, so this is kind of fuzzy. I would recommend maybe adjusting some of that lettering, but that's just me. And again, not necessarily a bad thing. It just, I would be worried about, again, back here, like all those letters disappear. They're just gone. And this is just on a monitor. So just something to be concerned about. Think forward on. All right, let's come back up top. And then we want to repeat the process for number 2. Okay. And then now we want to go into extinguish and warn. Wow. Cool. You can see bottle 1, bottle 2 being used there.
Fire. Engine 1 fire.
Cool. All right. And let's get on down for our test switch. We need to set it to the lamp. Make sure all lights and lamps are illuminating as expected. All looks good there. Let's come up top. Cool. All right, and then we need to go to the center display here. Oh, there we go. What did I set it? There we go. And we need to click on num here, and this will give us our current readouts. We got our engine oil. Main gear oil, I believe, is what that stands for. Don't quote me. Could be mistaken. But we're checking battery voltage to make sure it is above 23.5 volts. We're sitting at 25.1, golden there. Then we're going to go to VMS page weight and adjust any numbers that were necessary. Now, we would obviously do this from the weights and balances page, I believe. But we're not going to worry about that right now. We're going to leave it as is. We can come off the weight page by going to previous. Yep. And then the flight navigation display, or front navigation display. It's going to be this guy right here. And we have engine 1, engine 2 with a fail in it. We should be reading that. And we should also be seeing aft and forward fuel pump. Pitot 1, Pitot 2, and heat off. And LVAX fail. Very interesting. All right, so let's come up top and see what we got to do here. Exterior lights. We want to do our anti-collision lights and position lights. And we're going to do fuel prime 1 and prime 2. And then now it's time to set the engine 1. We can also set our barometric pressure while we're here. 1020. Now, I'll see if there's a way to change from hectopascals to inches. That makes more sense for me anyway. And then now we're going to take engine 1 master switch and turn it to idle. Let's listen to those sounds. Transition looks really nice. I liked the sound change. The sound change was nice and smooth. Pretty sure that's a rotor brake. Huh. Let's see what that is later. Anyway, so that's engine 1. Engine 2 to idle. All right, and then now we'll take them and go into FADEC. Whoa! Okay, so something that used to be an issue, and apparently still is, and I think this is Microsoft Flight Simulator, I don't think it's the aircraft, and I forgot to do this. This has nothing to do with them. This is totally my fault. Always make sure that when you jump into this helicopter, cycle your collective, okay? Just literally, before you start it, push your collective forward, bring it back, just so that way it centers back to the idle position. Whew, that startled the crap out of me. All right, now let's go into the after engine start procedures. There's a bit more testing, but I want to get to flying, man. So we're going to go pitot 1, pitot 2 on, avionics master switch 1 and 2 on. And let's see what's got. Fuel transfer pumps 1 and 2 are on. Fuel primer pumps off. And position lights and the strobe light should be on. We also need the landing light on because we're about to take off. And interior lights, emergency exits are set to arm. Looking golden, kids. All right, let's fly this beauty. It is time to fly. Let's see here. Test switch to pre-flight. Oh, LVAC should be on passenger. As the emergency locator. And landing light is the only thing that is left on. All right, let's fly her, guys. Oh, what's this? Oh, rotor RPM. We can just add a little bit of collective and that should go away. There it goes. All right, let's get this beautiful helicopter out of here. All right. So let's get this thing up and moving. So here we go. Alright, so that's what I wanted. We're going to set her back down for a second. I don't want the automatic flight control system on. And the reason why is I want to see how the aircraft handles on her own. Let's just turn that landing light off now. I don't have it bound to anything, and that's going to be tricky to go up and turn off later. Now I do want to figure out how to clear the master caution. And let's check out one more thing before we get up and moving here. Whoa, that's kind of messed up. There it goes. There we go. Okay. Let's see if there's anything here. Most of this should be just with the GTN 750. Alright. Well, this is the GTN 750, that PMS 50, guys. It's very, very awesome utility. Highly recommend it. It's got the charts integration. Alright. So let's take this thing off using the old-fashioned way without any assistance here and see what it does. So the rudder, I feel like the tail rotor input needs to be adjusted a little bit. That crazy thing it was doing there on the ground. But once you get up in the air, like literally, I mean, the second the aircraft skids come off the ground, then it feels like a real helicopter, absolutely. So let's go up and take a look at this airfield. If you turn the autopilot trim system on, I'm going to be blunt, it's way too easy. Like, just way too easy. Everything with the helicopter is just golden and smooth and easy, and so if you want to get the most of it, I highly recommend turn it off. Turn the autopilot system off. So there is the HPG-1 scenery that can be found on FlightSim.2. Very cool textures. It makes it look very oh, look, there's somebody else right there, guys. Getting ready to roll with us. And again, we are, I believe, just west of Seattle. Uh-oh, over-torquing. My bad. Sorry. Okay. Now she does fly very, very nicely. Very smooth. Ooh, that water is scary. I literally can't tell where that water ends, so that's a little disconcerting. Let's go to the exterior. I feel like the sounds are quite a bit better than the previous version, than the H-135. The rotor animations are fantastic, look absolutely beautiful. The sounds inside the cockpit are great. No issue there whatsoever. Oh, okay, so I just had to turn the backup controls on. I don't have to turn the autopilot on. I see. Okay. I misunderstood how that was working. It does tell me automatic flight control systems are disengaged, but yeah, we don't want that on. Now, for some reading that I did do a while back on the H-135, it sounds like that both these series of helicopters were actually very stable and very user-friendly from all the reading that I could find on these two particular helicopters. So some of this may be legit. I want you guys all to remember that I'm not a helicopter pilot. I've been in a helicopter once, and that was through a tour of Sedona, which actually I think was one of these helicopters. Something similar to it, I know. May not have been an Airbus, I'm not sure, but it definitely looked a lot like it. I am happy to say that the weird bouncing, okay, that the H-135 does for me, like the camera will sort of bounce every now and then, that seems to have gone away. She flies very, very nice, guys. I'm not going to worry about testing things like flight plan entry and things like that because that's more related to the GTN 750 at this point than to the H-145. Autopilot system, as you guys can tell, clearly works. I mean, for example, if we turn the autopilot system on, guys, I'll show you here real quick. We turn it on, and this aircraft is about as forgiving can be. At this point, it becomes flying sort of like a regular helicopter or a regular airplane. I mean, I can let completely off, like my feet are off the anti-torque pedals. Okay, they're off my rudder pedals. My hands are actually completely free of the controls right now. So it is nice, don't get me wrong. And it's going to be very handy when you get up and moving and you're en route to a destination if you've got a bit to go before you get there. It's not that it doesn't serve a purpose. It's just I kind of like fighting with the aircraft a little bit, if you will. I like the arguments that we get into. And by keeping the flight control system off, I get to have those arguments. Well, let's go ahead and take her in for a landing, guys. I have to remember where the heck I was, because I totally don't. I do like the gauge readouts, though. The nav displays and flight displays are awesome. I do like them. See our speed dropping below 20 knots. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, okay. Let's get some forward momentum going now. So I will say that was a little weird, that transition point. I feel like me pointing the nose down that hard should have definitely pushed her, gotten the aircraft moving significantly faster, and we should have lost a ton of altitude, I feel. But again, early access. This is early access. Okay, so please keep that in mind. I can tell you guys right now, as we are heading back towards our airfield here, I don't regret buying this at all. I'm very happy about the purchase. I think it's a fantastic aircraft. I love the textures. I love the sounds. I think this thing is going to be great in VR. Let's see here. See if I can do this without killing myself here. Oh, there it was. Oh. What? What happened? I just had to find our airfield again. It's been a minute. But, yeah, I think this thing's going to be fantastic. And I can't wait to see what its final fruition point looks like. The sounds are what are catching me the most. I'm so pleased with the sounds. The sounds are great. So again, I can't stress enough, guys. I do not regret purchasing this at all. I think it's absolutely worth the price. For it to be in the condition that it's in early access, I can't wait to see what the final release version offers. The integration with the GTN 750, that's actually a really big deal because you get access to things like Navigraph charts and things like that. That's really nice. And the GTN 750 is a freeware. It has a payware version, which I own, but it's not required. Definitely not required. No, go forward. There's trees behind us, girl. You can't be messing around like that here. All right, come on. Back. Settle down. No. Ah, dude, stop it. Stop going backwards. Stop going backwards. Stupid ground effect. I said stop it. Okay. Whew. Okay, and so let's talk about that for a second. The ground effect behavior on landing was actually very, very nice and very accurate. Like I could almost, quote unquote, feel that pillow you get down into as you get into those last couple feet. It becomes, and I've seen the same thing with DCS World in 3 different helicopters in DCS. So this has to be legit to real world behavior. When you get down to that ground effect, it's almost like the aircraft is sitting on a rotating ice plate because it just starts slipping and sliding and wants to go every which direction, and it wants to do it very, very rapidly. And always controlling that and coming back out of that is a pain in the rear end. And again, this is on multiple helicopters through multiple simulators that I've flown, so that there has to be some truth to that. I wonder why his engines are running. Anyway, guys, I highly, highly recommend this helicopter. Give it a shot. I promise you won't be disappointed in it. Remember, it is early access, and obviously a lot of development yet to come. So any of the weird bugs or behaviors you may have seen, again, early access. This is things that are going to be addressed. The aircraft obviously has much more fruition to go through, and I think you'll be very pleased with the process. So Hype Performance Group, great job, fantastic job more like, and as always, guys, I will see you in the next one.